What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. I'll try not to sing at your party. I really will. Unless you really want me to. Make your next thing a big one. Hey, today on the program, I have Aysleth Zeledon. Who's Aysleth Zeledon? Rented lips. Aysleth Zeledon? You're going to find out in the next few minutes, so stick around. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. This week's shows, let's see, as I'm recording this, Thursday night, I will be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas. My triumphant return as we're breaking out of COVID-19 quarantine. Yes, we're getting safe enough. I got my second shot today, so I feel like a superhero, like I can take on the world. I'm still going to wear a mask. Whenever I'm walking around and interacting with people, I put the mask on. That's what the scientists tell me to do. I'm going to do it. Science, right? Follow science. It's not affecting my freedom. If it does bother you, then don't go to those places that need the masks, where you can't social distance. Don't go there. It's not affecting my freedom at all. But anyway, I'll be at the Old Post Barbecue in Russellville, Arkansas tonight. The video dance party, karaoke jam. It's family time. I keep it family friendly. The music in the background and the singers, they're supposed to sing songs that are family friendly. PG at the most, okay? And we try to keep it really nice. So bring everybody out to the Old Post Barbecue. They got great food. Oh, the barbecue is good. The Dagwood. Have you ever seen the Dagwood at the Old Post Barbecue? It's this big, gigantic sandwich full of meat. I can't handle it. I eat the chicken wings. Chicken wings are smoked. Put a little barbecue sauce on them. Nom. So, yeah. And they got frosty beverages for the adults. They got the beer and the wine license. So I think that you can have some beer and wine. If you care to imbibe, drink responsibly. I know I said that with kind of a sassy voice, but yes, drink responsibly. It's very good. Over at the Old Post Barbecue from 6 to 9 Thursday night. And then Friday night, the place to be is the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Video dance party, karaoke jam, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try to make some money on a Friday night, I encourage you to check out the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. You're the star of the show. Those are my two public shows. Thursday at the Old Post Barbecue, 6 to 9 in Russellville, Arkansas, and Friday from 8 to 12:30 in the AM at the Rab, Conway, Arkansas. And then on Saturday, I have a wedding. Why did I mention it? Because I'm excited. I have weddings. Weddings are coming back. I'm so excited to be part of your big day. Is that cheesy? Every time I say, it's your big day. I guess if I say it that way, it's your big day. It is your big day. You deserve it. You deserve a party. You deserve to be celebrated. Yeah. And thank you for letting me be there and be a part of your show. Yeah. All right. That's enough intro. Let's get into it with Aysleth Zeledon. I got her on Skype. Skyping Aysleth Zeledon now. Aysleth?
It's
Aysleth. I know, you just said it. Zeledon. Aysleth Zeledon. It's fantastic. I've been trying to figure you out. I've been trying to figure out how you got your hands in a lot of different pots. But maybe you can give people the Wikipedia page, the little blurb at the top that explains who Aysleth Zeledon is. Who are you?
I could write it myself if you want me to.
Do it. Write it now. Go ahead. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay. Let's see. So, are you already recording or not yet?
What? We started at the time that the phone was on. The Skype.
Okay.
The Skype started.
I I don't know how Skype works. This is the first time with Skype, so thank you, Skype, for giving us this platform.
Well, yeah, I'm using broadcast software. I have XSplit. I like to educate as well as inform as well as entertain whenever I do these podcasts. So if anybody wants to know how I put the little backgrounds in, if you watch the videos, you're going to see a little background and little flash and little fun, and your name is underneath, and it looks like a television show by the time that I finish this off. And they're going to go, how'd you do that? I want to get my videos to look better. But Aysleth Zeledon, tell the people who you are.
Okay, well, that is a big question, just because I do a lot of things. I graduated from Arkansas Tech University in 2013, and that's kind of when it all started for me. I started a little bit before that, but that's kind of when I had time to really sit back and do what I wanted to do. And so once I graduated, I didn't know what to do. Like a lot of college students, they go to college, but you get out and you constantly are looking, okay, where am I going to work? How am I going to make money? How am I going to pay those student loans? Because I sure had some. I didn't have a lot, like a lot of people, but I did have, I had some scholarships, but I didn't cover everything. And so I did have some loans that I had to take care of. And so I was like, okay, well, now that I'm graduated, I have to figure out how I'm going to make some money. And so, that's definitely something that, a lot of people struggle with. That's definitely something that, I struggled with as well. But then I think the number one reason why I struggled with it is because my major was journalism. My emphasis was print, so I knew how to write very well. But journalism is a right. It's in the Constitution. And so literally anybody can be a journalist. Mm-hmm. And so my hardest thing was trying to find a job that I enjoyed with my degree. I didn't want to go into the news because the news has bad rep. I got offered the courier position, as the police officer layout, that type of, being in between the police officer and the media. And I knew how much I was going to dedicate, and I knew how much effort I was going to do for the courier, and it just wasn't worth it for me. And so I was just like, I'm sorry, but no, no thanks. I value my worth and I value my work and I know what I'm worth, and they were not going to offer that to me. Unfortunately, that was one of the positions that, I didn't even apply for, honestly. They just told us in class, hey, if you guys want this job, apply for it. And I was like, I thought about it and I looked at how much, they had to offer. I actually did, I knew someone there. And so that worked there. And so I asked them, I was like, hey, what are they, what's the pay like over there? And so, I was just kind of like, no thanks, pass. I'm married. And so fortunately, I have a very supportive husband that definitely, when it came to our finances and when it came to our needs, he would always, provide. It's not always like that for everybody, but it was my experience since we've been married. My family's from Nicaragua, and so we're Central American. I'm first generation U.S. born citizen here. Most of my family has dual citizenship. They came in the 70s with the Nicaraguan War. And so thank you, Clinton, for amnesty. And so that's a little bit about my back history. I have a 9-year-old. He has autistic tendencies, and he is not getting all of the therapy that he needs because he hasn't been diagnosed, but we are in process of trying to get that diagnosis. So that's just a little bit about me.
Aysleth Zeledon, you have given a lot to unpack. I too started off as a child, and not much really happened back then. I know you started your conversation off, you started your story off after college, and usually that's where the adult life starts. I tell people when they're in school, stay in school. Because once you get out in the real world, it's going to get crazy. You're going to be responsible for yourself. Let your parents take care of you. And I see that you had supportive parents, and now in turn you have a supportive husband. That's good. That's a nice base. Family life is important, and you have to have people that are backing you up, because we can't do this all by ourselves. I like that. I like the way your story has started. But let's go back. Where were you born at?
Okay, so originally I'm from California, LA area, Baldwin Park. Ooh, ooh, I wasn't born in Baldwin Park, but that's where I grew up. So I was born in like West Covina area, La Puente area. I probably have to look at my birth certificate to know exactly, but I don't even know really. So I just know it's LA area. And so it was LA County is what my birth certificate says. I remember that. I lived there for about 11 years. My parents were married over there in California. They had a church. It had about maybe 300 to 400 members in California. Whenever there was revival and like the special events, we had over 2,000 people. And so there was just a big it was just a lot, and they needed pastors here in Arkansas. And my parents were ordained through the Wesleyan community. It's kind of like Methodist, and so that's basically that was who they affiliated with. When we came here to Arkansas, I was 11, and my parents were, I guess, having some struggles, just like every other marriage. They got divorced when I was 11 to 13, around there, because you know how that goes. It takes a while. Especially when there's property involved and kids and everything. I'm one of 6. I'm the youngest, and so that's the one of 6. And so my dad, he still has a church, but he remarried and he went back to Nicaragua, and he has a church in Nicaragua. My mom stayed here, and she's still an ordained minister. Now they came here to start one church in Arkansas, and now there's 6. And my mom did that with 4 girls, taking care of 4 girls, being a single mom in the South. So as you can imagine, it was a struggle, but she did it. And there's 6 churches here in Arkansas.
Oh, I imagine so. Wait, you had 6 kids, but there was only 4 girls that came. Did the other 2 leave, or?
Well, the other 2 were already older. They're already married. They're already, it was two boys and then 4 girls every 2 years. So yeah.
Where are the 2 boys at?
So that one of them is a pastor in Fallbrook, California. He stayed in California.
Okay.
He's a Marine, and he's a mechanic. And so the other one, he is here in Arkansas. For a short time, he did move to Colorado, but he came back to Arkansas.
And then the girls, what are they doing?
So my sisters. My oldest sister, she is in Colorado with another one of my sisters that's a respiratory therapist. My other sister is a life coach as well. So the one that didn't go to college, she studied through Udemy and got some college credits to them. And so she's a life coach in Colorado, and she went to beauty school. So she has her, she doesn't have her cosmetology license, I don't think. Because of the divorce, when we first got here, she was set to take her exam, but we had to go to California to finish everything, and so she couldn't take her exam. So she went through all the schooling, and she didn't take the exam. But she tried to take it years after. But I mean, you know how the memory works. Yeah. It was not a easy task.
No, you'd have to take a refresher course. What's Udemy, by the way?
So Udemy is a platform that teaches people how to become coaches. So they have like online courses of videos and worksheets where you can be a life coach or you can be a business coach. So basically all types of coaches, you go to Udemy to study and you get your certification afterwards. I am also a spiritual life coach through Udemy, accredited. So if I ever want to go back to college, it's accredited. So I can definitely apply those credits to the university that I choose. Is
Udemy an online school then?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Hey, I like it. You're teaching people stuff. How to that they don't actually have to go to a brick and mortar school. They can go to an online school and get some kind of an education, a skill, a life skill. But continue.
Okay, yeah, and so then the my other sister is here in Arkansas, and she is a public notary here in Arkansas in Russellville. She also works at a tax office, and so she does people's taxes, and she also has done immigration work. She's not a lawyer, but she has submitted paperwork for immigrants, and they have received their residency and things like that. She went to college in Arkansas Tech for history and political science, and now she is studying to be a dentist. And so she is about maybe 2 to 3 years away from becoming a dentist.
Aysleth, it sounds like your whole family has their fingers in a lot of different pots, has a lot of different different wants, different needs, different desires. I'm also someone who I guess, is that ADD? Is that you get distracted? I like that stuff over there, and I like that stuff over there. I think I'll do both at the same time. It's interesting that the way people thrive and survive and find ways to make a living or just get through life. But yeah, it sounds like your whole family is hardworking. Is definitely has when they put their mind to something, they go for it. They don't necessarily have to go all the way in school. They go, okay, I get it, I got it. Let's get to work. I got the basic points. Let's go.
I think that's the immigrant mentality. I think so many people they come here for opportunities. They don't come here to live off of, most of them. I can't speak for all of them, but they don't come here just to sit around and do nothing. We come here to get opportunities that is not available in our countries. My country is the United States. I've never left other than to Mexico when I was really small. But most immigrants that I've met don't come here just to be here. They come here to learn. They come here to be active in the community. They come to be a part of the community. They don't, that's the majority of the immigrant mentality. And so, I chose journalism because all my life I would hear people's stories. I'm a preacher's kid. And so I loved hearing people's stories and sharing their stories and giving inspiration. And so I became a spiritual life coach because I didn't want to go to I did take some classes with the Wesleyan community, but I just was going to college at the same time. And so I was like, that's too much. And so I was like, I only took maybe one class with them. And then once I graduated, I'm the type of person that I love learning. I love learning new things. I love just always having something to do. It seems like my favorite thing and favorite pastime is learning. And so that's definitely something that I have, my mom, I think, instilled in us because she is an immigrant. And so she's always telling us and always motivating us, go learn another language, go translate someone's book, go do this, go do this, go do this. Why? Because she didn't have those opportunities in her country, and she knows that they're here.
Oh, yeah. Journalism, it's very telling. It means you like to get people's stories. You like knowledge. You like to dig in. I don't know what type of journalism you wanted to get into, if there was a certain beat that you wanted to be a part of when you were thinking about it. What beat did you want to get into, or what kind of journalism did you want to do, and how has that helped you thus far?
So my favorite type of journalism my favorite beat whenever I was in college was the community one. So the events, those types of things, because I love the community. I love being part of the community and sharing people's stories and sharing, inspirational stories, as well as stories that are going to help other people, inspire other people to definitely be part of the community and, volunteer and just, have that, ongoing motor that every community needs. And so the community lead was definitely my favorite.
And you're in Russellville right now?
So I lived in Russellville for 17 years. When we moved to Russellville, it was me and my 3 sisters and my mom. So it was 5 women, girls and women, with 1 bathroom. So as you can imagine, it was. I'm surprised that I survived.
Was it a lot of time to get out of the bathroom. I need it.
That is a very American way to think about it. It's not the Latino way.
No, were they just breaking down the door? Bow, I'm coming in.
No, we just kind of yelled at each other.
You think, looks like a white guy, half Cuban. I know the Latino way. I'm from Miami. Más cubano de la Guantanamera, okay?
Oh, look at you go. Look at that accent. Yeah.
Yeah, no, whenever I was on the radio down in Miami, it was a bilingual radio station, 105.5. It's no longer there. Éxito 105.5, but it's gone. And it was 2 English songs, 2 Spanish songs. And I knew enough Spanish that I can get away with it. But they still called me El Gringo on the radio. But
so the literal definition of gringo was when white people went to the Latin American countries and they saw the money and it was green and they didn't want them in there, so they were being racist. Like they were being like, we don't want you here. And so they would it literally means green money, go, so leave. And so that term, so many people, they probably don't know the history behind that, but it's kind of like an insult a little bit.
Another story that I heard about that just recently, probably over the last month, it's a song from the 1800s called Where the Green Grass Goes. Where the green grass goes, where the green go. They heard the cowboys singing this song in the Texas area around the border where the green grass grows. That's another story that I heard about gringo. Yeah.
See, a lot of people, when I came to Arkansas, they didn't know that I was a Latina. They saw me, I'm pretty white complected, and so they didn't think that I knew Spanish. And so, a lot of my friends, we didn't really speak Spanish. We were in school, we spoke English. And so, it was in 5th grade when I came here. It was 9/11 happened when I first got here to Arkansas. And so I still remember, when I had to go into Mr. Keaton's history room to watch it on TV. And, I still remember that day. And I just kind of after that year, it was very different, because so many people who actually have military families. I had a military family, like my brother, we are a military family because my brother is a Marine. His son just recently became a Marine. So shout out to Vincent. I'm so proud of you. And then his other son, Ray, he's going to be a Marine too. They couldn't go at the same time. And so now it's Ray's turn. And so I'm so excited for them because, military is such an important thing for any kind of country except for Costa Rica because they don't have one. But
wait, okay, back up. What's Costa Rica? How come they don't have a military?
That's a question you got to ask them. So I have heard that instead of a military, what they do is all of the spiritual leaders in the country go to the 4 corners and they just pray and they fast and they declare and they just stay in the 4 sections of the country, and they don't pay for military. They believe in prayer, they believe in fasting, they believe that God's going to protect their country, and so they don't have a military.
Aysleth, as a person that was raised on religion, you having parents that were in the religious business, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like God will protect?
I think He will, but I do think that there is instances where a backup is needed. Especially with right now with gun control and them wanting to take away our rights, and even though I'm not.
And we're back. Okay, you cut out at gun control, even though gun control. Go.
Okay, so yeah, the gun control issues that we have here in the United States are very different, just because we are the melting pot. There's so many different ethnicities and different cultures in the U.S., and so I definitely think that, because we're so different, because we have different backgrounds, because we have different, experiences, it's human nature. I mean, Cain and Abel were brothers and they literally, one of them killed them. You know what I mean? That's been something that, war and strife has been around in biblical times as well. Getting along was such a hard thing, for so many people. And, that's definitely something that, we still struggle with. And so I definitely do appreciate the our rights that we have here. And, that's definitely something that we can also use to hold accountable to certain people in the government and in, military, because, of so many instances of investigative reporting that has been done, So I definitely think that it's more needed here than in Costa Rica, where, it's a small country, it's not that big, it's not that diverse. And so I definitely think that it's two different topics in two different countries. So I definitely do think that, gun control is a very important thing here in the United States.
Well, personally, I wish we didn't have to have a military. And if we did have to have some kind of a military, it was to go out and help other people. I know a lot of the efforts of the military, all over the world, really is not only to defend, but also to enhance and to rebuild and to help. The people, people have conflicts. It's a struggle being a human being. Just think about all your sisters that you grew up with. You were fighting among your 4 sisters. Now, could you imagine that? Millions and billions fold. We fight. That's what humans do. It's a struggle from the day you're born. You're struggling to survive. So, we need to have a military to keep the peace and that kind of a thing. But I wish we didn't have to kill each other. I really do. That's a byproduct of it, is that, sometimes bad things happen. But, you're talking about gun control and things, and I know that's a very divisive thing. And let's see, I had guns when I was a kid. I don't have a gun now. Well, there might be a gun in the house. I don't know where it's at. I haven't shot it in in a long time. I hope it's safe. I hope it's put up properly. But if the need ever arises, I hope I can get to it pretty quickly. I think I need to get into that. Now that we're talking, you never know what you're going to get out of these conversations. I need to find out where that gun is and make sure that it's in a good place, a safe place. But, I digress. There's other things that go on in Aysleth's life. And, we're just talking about things that are going on. And if you notice, I did change the way that you could see the video. That way you could see how the video is going to present itself. If people are just listening to the audio version, I encourage them to check out the video version on the YouTube page. But Aysleth Zeledon, there's more. There's more to you. You got out as a journalist. What kind of work did you do when you got out?
So when I got out, I did a few things. I worked at a financing company that helped, people who had low credit scores. And so it definitely taught me, just the whole area of financing furniture. And so that's definitely something that I definitely enjoyed, because during college, I did work at a insurance office. And so if you've ever worked at an insurance office, the number one thing that you learn, or that you should learn, is to be careful. Because it costs money if you're not careful.
Okay. No on the skydiving, the extreme sports, not the way to go. Do you do anything that's not careful in your life? I mean, people do things in their reckless youth. Skateboarding or motorcycle riding, that could be dangerous in itself. But anything that you've done in your life that you say, that was extreme, that was reckless, shouldn't have done that?
Well, I mean, that's funny that you say that, because I absolutely love roller coasters. Growing up in California, we had an uncle that he would he definitely give us free tickets, because he worked in the post office and they gave him free tickets. And so he was always working and didn't have time, and so he would literally just give us free tickets to Six Flags. And so maybe once a month we would go as a family to, in the church, all the teens, we would go. And so if it wasn't the beach, then it was the park. If it wasn't the park, it was Six Flags. If it wasn't Six Flags, it was Knott's Berry Farm, So there was just so much things to do in, California, in the area that we were in, that when we got here to Arkansas, we're like, Silver Dollar City? Like, what is that? Like, that's so boring. Like, to me, growing up, roller coasters, these were just little bitty rides in the fair. And, I was like, this is entertainment. I'm sorry, but like, it was just kind of interesting, to see just the differences of, people. Like, some people, they have an extreme fear of roller coasters. I'm a big type of, face your fears type of person. Fear is false evidence appearing real. And so that's definitely something that I encourage anybody, that if you have a fear, definitely face it. It's going to empower you, and you're going to have the best endorphins going through your brain. So, yeah, even though I'm a very safe person, and I was in, insurance, and I was like kind of raised to be very careful, mainly because I was around so many kids that's the number one thing that I heard, be careful, be careful, be careful, or, in the Latinos, they don't even tell you to be careful. They're saying, te vas a caer, you're going to fall, So, it's definitely something that I changed the language whenever I became a mother, because I didn't want to tell my son, you're going to fall, you're going to fall, you're going to fall. I definitely did change the words and be like, be careful. And so now I have a 9-year-old that is extremely careful. And, it saves me trips to the ER. So.
Well, what's funny is you think, yeah, okay, the Latin side of my family is the one that raised me the most. And I remember my grandma and my mom, they taught me a certain way. And then my grandfather and the men in my life taught me a different way, the Latin ones. Because the women would be more of, hey, be careful, don't touch that, it's hot. But the men in my life were like, watch this, he's going to touch it, he's going to touch it. Got him. And he won't do that again. You won't do that again. If it's nothing too dangerous, if you're touching a hot pot. I mean, if he's going to stick his finger in a light socket, I think they would have taken me away from that. But if I'm going to touch a pot that's sitting on the stove, he's reaching for it. He's going to burn himself. He burned himself. Won't do that again. And you're right. I didn't do that again. Two schools of thought, two ways of teaching kids. And I think it must be almost universal, because the women seem to be more taught to be more endearing, more caring, to prevent things from happening. And the men are, hey, learn from your mistakes. You made that mistake, learn from your mistakes. What have you been taught?
I think it also depends on, the way your parents are, kind of how they were raised, because like my form of discipline is not the same form of discipline of my husband. And so we struggled with that, him growing up and agreeing on the type of discipline, and, him having autistic tendencies. It was extremely hard to discipline him. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, you know what? I was spanked as a kid. So, as long as you don't abuse and the number one thing that I definitely advise, any kind of parent that believes in corporal punishment, because I sure do, is to definitely tell your kids why they're getting spanked and what they can do to prevent it the next time. Because that is something that when I was growing up, like, even though I knew I did something bad, I didn't really know why I was getting spanked, 2 times or 3 times, because my mom, she would spank us. And if there was 4 girls, and so the oldest one, if we both got in trouble, the oldest one would get spanked one more time than the younger one, because it was bad, bad big sister, And so, yeah, I was the youngest. So out of everybody, I got the spanked least amount of everybody. So they're always like, you're the baby of the family, If you are the youngest and you are the baby of the family, guess what? You're more likely to be a millionaire, statistically proven. So, yeah, shout out to all of the, youngest of the family. It's definitely something that I think, in my opinion, it's definitely something that you learn, or you should learn, from the, bad and good mistakes of your siblings. And I was one of 6. So as you can imagine, I had a lot of learning.
Yeah, I know about the corporal punishment. My brother and I would be rooms away, and my mom somehow could bend that chancleta around corners and beam me in the head for beating up on my little brother. But by the same token, I think I've only spanked my daughter once. and she really deserved it. She ran away from home and didn't tell mom or dad where she was going all night long. We wake up in the morning, where's the kid? We have no idea. So it's more, wow. She went miles away to her friend's house, and yeah, I think she deserved a little spank on the butt. She got 10 on the butt. It did hurt me more than, no, it hurt her more than it hurt me.
So, I believe in corporate punishment. And mainly, I think the main thing is to use an object. Psychologists say that when you use an object, the kids understand a lot easier, because when you spank them with your hand, it confuses them, because the same hand that hurts them and spanks them is the same hand that hugs them. And so it confuses the child. And so my mom and my dad would always use the belt. That was just their go-to, the belt. I used a wooden spoon, and let me tell you, I broke 3 and he's already 9. So it's just this, I've already broken 3 wooden spoons, and I had to actually have like a little clavo. I had to a nail on a very, in our hallway, because he would literally hide it, and he would literally. So I had to, definitely put it in a higher place so that he would not hide it, and I could get to it easier. So there was,
autistic, not
I
dumb,
disciplined
not
him.
dumb.
No, I disciplined him enough where if I would just look at it, he would calm down. So
yeah, that's a smart kid. Hide that thing. You realize that when you first are a parent, you find out that these kids have a right arm reach of 8 feet. If they want something, they'll get it. Cookies on the top shelf. How did you get the cookie on the top shelf? They can do it. They're smart.
Oh yeah. A lot of people, my son, he learned how to read when he was 4. And so, we were going for a walk, and he just started reading the signs, and I was like, you can read already? And so, but, I did, when he was a baby, I didn't work for the whole first year that he was born. Thankfully, I just went to school, and my husband provided for us. And so I definitely did flashcards with him. I would read to him. I went to Choices Pregnancy Clinic when I was pregnant. And so I took parenting classes, and my husband took parenting classes with me. And so I literally learned how to be a mother, even though in the Latino, community, we have pretty good mothers. But I wanted to definitely learn even more how to be the best mother that I could be for my son, because I knew that me growing up, I had a lot of resentment towards my mom. And I was like, I want to learn so that I could definitely be more empathetic and be more, just a different type of mom, and more educational type of learning helped me be a better mom. Because I was 19 years old. I was in college still. I was a full-time mom, full-time student, and I was a mother. And so God knows that I needed help. So I definitely took those classes to learn, how to mother him in the right way. And, now I just share my knowledge, because I think as a journalist, that's the number one thing that you love to do, is to share information, and so that's something that I love to do. I love to share any kind of information that I learn. And so, I think when I was growing up, they ask every kid, what do you want to be? And I said a teacher, and so my mom discouraged me from that, because she's like, oh, teachers don't make a lot of money. and so, now I am a different type of teacher. I teach English, I teach Spanish. Right now I'm literally, teaching a writer's masterclass to learn how to become an author and a successful author. And so that's something that, I have a teacher's heart, and I love teaching. Literally my part-time job for 2 days out of the week is a teacher. Like I teach at Little Life Academy here in Conway, in New Life Church, and so I love loving on some kids. It's one of my favorite. Fills my cup a little bit, and that way I can definitely just kind of get my little dose of little creatures, and oh man, it's just so nice.
Well, you're giving the people.
It's not for everybody, though. It's not for everybody.
You're giving the people gems, Aysleth. Once you learn something, you teach it, you pass it on. And when, no kid comes with a book of instructions. Yeah, maybe they'll give you that book of Dr. Spock. I think back in the 70s and early 80s, they would give you this book, Dr. Spock. Huh. You mean the guy from Star Trek? No, not that Spock. No, it's a different guy. But they would teach that supposedly he was a great social or psychologist, and he would give you ideas of how to raise a child. Nobody can get that out of a book. You have to just find your own way. And I'm glad that you had the means, the ability to stay home with your child for at least the first year, because that's so important. If you have the means, if you have the opportunity. No, if you're a single parent, you may not have that opportunity. You may be just dropping that kid off at the daycare that you hope is doing a good job for them, and then going off and working your 9 to 5 or your 12 to 12 or your 6 in the morning until 10 at night job, because you have to try to make ends meet. But I'm glad you have a teammate in your husband that you're helping. He's helping you, you're helping him to raise this child, because that's what we're here for. Not only take care of each other and make something of ourselves, but then to raise that next generation, your child. So yeah, I mean, going further, you had those Joe jobs. You didn't do a lot with the journalism, but after you finished your finance job, where did you go from there?
So after that, I realized that I really loved finances. I really loved helping people with their finances, because my mom was a single mom since I was 11, and so about 20 years she's been a single mom. I wanted to definitely learn finances and help other people, with home budgeting assistance, those types of services that my mom needed and my family needed, and a lot of people needed, because other than that, they wouldn't be having to finance furniture. And so that definitely kind of introduced me to finances, and that's something that I'm still passionate about, because I love saving people some money, giving them tips on how to learn their finances and organize their finances. I'm a big organization person, as you can see. There's my calendar. So that's something that a lot of Hispanics don't do. Not the ones that I've met. That when they just come here, that's not something that we kind of are just born with.
Well, I mean, the ones that I, when I was growing up, I remember your finances were whatever cash was in your pocket. As soon as you get your check, you go to the local whatever drugstore or liquor store and cash your check, buy yourself a bottle, whatever's left, put it in your pocket. There's your finances. Done.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, like, so many people, they struggle with finances. And so I got my first house when I was 22 years old, thank God. I was, that I was fortunate enough to really just sit there and think, okay, I don't want to waste my money on rent. I was still in college, and so I knew that I had student loans, and I probably would have had a harder chance to qualify after getting out of college, because my husband is an immigrant. He was not a resident yet, and so there was not the programs that there is now for residents or for people who have an ITIN number. There wasn't any kind of programs for them back then. Now there is, thankfully. But I, wanted a house. I wanted a home. I wanted stability. I wanted an investment. I am a real estate consultant as of right now. And so that's something that I love, being able to empower people to have something that's theirs. And so that's definitely something that is my newest endeavor. Last month I started real estate school, and so right now I'm just kind of translating for realtors. I'm scheduled to have my exam at the end of the month, and so I'm excited.
What real estate agent? Give shout outs. Where can people buy a house from you, Aysleth?
So currently I am in Century 21 Legacy Realty in Conway, Arkansas.
1622 Donaghy?
Yes.
That's the office I'm in right now.
Really?
Really.
Interesting. Well, yeah, we do have some rooms that are rented out, so I guess you're one of those. So yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so I did not know that. But yeah, that's something that I enjoy doing, because even though I was 22 years old, me and my husband, we wanted something for ourselves. Literally, we did not have a wedding. It was either we're going to have a wedding and waste a bunch of money on a party one night, or we're going to
Wait.
get a house.
Disclaimer. I'm a wedding DJ. No, they're great. No, it's true. It's true. You have to weigh. It out. It's very expensive to have a wedding for one night. To give booze to all your family and friends, or you could take that money and do what?
So my mom was a single mom and my dad was not involved. And so my husband's parents, they were in Honduras, we had no help, literally. We had no help. And so when it came to us wanting to get married, we didn't have a wedding because we had to pay for that wedding. And like I said, my mom was a pastor. So imagine how many mouths we had to feed. So we're like, let's get, And so, we knew that we wanted to be together. We knew that we wanted to make that commitment, but we just didn't want to. We were like, he was raised in the spotlight. I was raised in the spotlight. And so I felt like it was just kind of, more to us. It meant more to just be us and a couple witnesses than, a big old party and have I just didn't want that, honestly. I didn't even go to prom.
And then down the line, if you want to have house parties, that's fine, man. Have get-togethers with your family, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those kind of things. Yes, that's the time to get together. Have fun.
In high school, I didn't even go to prom. Like, my mom literally asked me, do you want to go to prom or do you want to go to New York? I was like, I want to go to New York. What kind of question is that?
I never been to New York. What did you do in New York as a kid? I guess a 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old?
So we went, we had a school event that we went to. We got invited to go perform in choir. I was in choir for 7 years. And so, it cost literally $500 for 5 nights, which was a really good deal. And so my mom was like, because she was a single mom, she's like, okay, well, I can help you with the $500, but it's either that or prom. And so it was a senior trip. And so I was like, you know what? I don't care about prom. I want to go to New York. And so I went to the Empire State Building. We saw we did everything that you go to New York to do. It was such a fun experience. And it kind of opened my eyes to what the world really is like, because even though I'm from California, like, I'd never been to New York. And so it kind of, I never told my family this at the time, and now I tell them. But I literally, when I went to that, when I came back, I applied to Rochester, and I got in college over there in New York. And so I applied to 2 colleges. It was Arkansas University and Rochester, and I got into both. But because I didn't know anybody in New York, I decided to stay here in Arkansas. But, they definitely have my name in the admissions list, and I definitely got approved. And so, but it was because of that experience that I was like, man, this is beautiful city. Like, I think it's because, I'm originally from California. I was born in California. So it was like a little glimpse of city life again, and so I, enjoyed it so much. But then I was like, all my family is here in Arkansas, and I'm a big family person. Like, when my parents got divorced, when I was 11, I remember, my neighbor, she, Sammy Acosta and her family. So shout out to Sammy's family. They were really good people, and they helped me make that decision, because since I was the youngest, my dad wanted to take me to Nicaragua. And so I was like, literally, I remember telling him, no, I don't want to go over there because people over there don't have shoes. Because I was a child. I didn't know.
People in Arkansas don't have shoes either.
I know. It was the irony. So I was like, but, he's like, well, you're going to have shoes. I'm going to buy you some shoes over there. And I was like, And so she really helped me. Like, our neighbor, she really helped me. And so she's like, who are you going to miss more? Are you going to miss your sisters and your mom, or are you going to miss your dad? And I was like, well, if I think about it, my dad, I don't really know who my dad is. He was so busy in church and in California, that he never took the time to spend with his family. Like, he, at least not with me. I have very few memories of him. I remember him loving the movie Titanic. I remember him always in a suit. I rarely ever saw him in shorts because, he was a pastor. So there was just very few memories that I had of him. And so I was like, you can't really miss somebody that you don't really know. And so my mom, she was part of the youth. She was part of, like, she would take us everywhere. My dad was always he was just too busy for us. And so definitely, if you're a pastor out there, take some time to definitely, spend time with your family, make those memories, because, you only live once, and you are your biggest hero to your kids. And so that's something that I definitely appreciate about my husband, because even though his family is very involved in church in Honduras, they're just the leaders. They're not the pastors, but they still, because they're the leaders, they're still in that spotlight. And so, I definitely appreciate that balance of, speaking on stages like yours today,
Yeah.
and definitely, being behind the scenes and, serving. And so we have a good balance of both, and we definitely always take time for, us as a family. We go on family vacations, and we also go on staycations, because, those are just as relaxing, and even more, now that, with COVID and everything, yes, last year we couldn't go anywhere, but he literally sold his car and went to Honduras. He took the test and everything, and he got tested negative, and he went to Honduras because his family in Honduras, his mom has some, health issues, and so he literally thought that it was going to be the last chance that he was going to see her. So he literally sold his car and left. And I was like, okay, it's a little stressful for me, but you do you. And he never tells me not to go see my mom. So I just feel like, it's not fair for me to be like, no, you can't go. So we support each other in, those types of situations when it comes to the family, because, God gave you your family for a reason, and it's to love on them, not to judge them, not to hate them, not to do anything other than to love them.
No, you definitely do have a good team, and yeah, you going to visit your mom is only 45 minutes. His is hours and hours away. So there's a little different dichotomy there, but you're very understanding that he needs to go see his family. My mom is in her 60s. My grandma still around in her 90s. And I'm like, wow. I try to call her on the phone at least once a week, sometimes twice, sometimes three, because you never know. Family is very important. I'm glad that you have that. You have that base, because those are the people that are going to back you up almost no matter what. In almost any family, they're the ones that back you up more than anybody else. And, friends come and go, relationships come and go, but your family is usually the ones that'll back you up. I know there's exceptions to every rule. Some people have families that don't get along.
In the Latino culture, even though you hate your aunt, or you hate, whatever, which you shouldn't, but even if you just have a little bit of resentment towards them, you're still right next to them. Like in the parties, you're still right next to them. And so that's a little bit different than, the American side of culture, because, if you don't want to see someone, if you're resentful and they hurt your feelings or whatever reason, you will not go see them. But in the Latino culture, we don't really care. We want to go have a good time. We want to go eat. We want to have, listen to music. And so even if we're just kind of like, our feelings are hurt and we're just like bitter towards someone, we don't care. We're still going to go for that food. We're still going to go to, be around the family. We're still going to go. And so that's definitely something that's different, and everybody's always like, yeah, I hear so many stories of, people that only see their family like 3 times a year, if that. And so I'm like, I could never do that, because, that's just something that, was in our culture. We just are family people, regardless of how they are.
Da un beso a tu tía. No, mommy, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether you like them or not, they're your family. That's fantastic. Well, I know that I've taken some time, and I know you have to get back to life. Things are happening. Let's wind this thing down a little bit. But, give the people an idea of what kind of services, what you're into. What are you wanting to do right now, and how do people get a hold of you to do those things?
So right now, I started my own nonprofit. It's called Learning Idiom. The reason why it's called Learning Idiom is because I'm a poet, and we don't clap, we snap. And so I'm a poet. And so my mission is to help people with their mental health through poetry in English and in Spanish. And so I love teaching poetry. I love teaching in general, but poetry is just so near and dear to my heart, because I have a bilingual book. It's a poetry book, and it's called Eternal Waters of Life, Love, and Grace. And so I empower people to learn how to write down what they're feeling and write their story. And, I have a book that's coming up. It's going to be a co-author book, and it's going to be about hope. With COVID and everything, there was just so much hopelessness that I definitely think this book is very needed in this moment. And so I could easily just write, a fictional book about hope, but I wanted to help heal people through their past. I wanted to help people write their story so that they heal from their past. And so that's something that I am on a mission to do because I am a spiritual life coach, I'm a health coach, I'm a beauty guide. So there's just so many little things that I do. I'm a real estate consultant as well. So that's something that I have so many services and so many, my skill set is just, there's an array of things, but I am a certified to teach Spanish. And so that's my passion. I love teaching Spanish. I love teaching people about our culture. And so learning idiom is me and 6 other ladies, and they're all Latina, they're all bilingual, and we all have different, strengths, and we show people how to cook. We show people how to, about cryptocurrency. We show people about, exercising. We have she does exercising videos and all of that. We teach people how to dance. Bachata and cumbia are the 2 main right now. We teach people how to, just basically we teach people about our culture in a fun and enjoyable way. And it's kind of like arts and humanities type in, because we're also teaching them English and Spanish and perfecting their, grammar and just those types of services. And so it is a authentic Latino women based, and like we all just want to, help our community learn our culture in a more professional but right now so many people are like, especially right now with the border crisis, like people are kind of like scared, and like I definitely want to be part of that movement that helps educate people that might not know our culture, might not know why we do certain things, and so that's definitely something that's our mission, is to help people with their mental health, but as well as teach them our culture. And so that's what learning idiom is about. And we have 2 clubs on Clubhouse. We have Joyful Moments, and we also have Learning Idiom. So we have those 2 talk show hosts where we just kind of, teach people and talk Spanglish, and teach people Spanish, but at the same time talk about very important topics like finding inner healing, like, stories of kids who've have overcome child abuse or some kind of abuse, So we have like a very array of skills, but at the same time, we're joyful people. We love learning from our experiences and helping other people with their life, basically. And so, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time on Clubhouse. And those are the 2 talk show that we have. So we have a show on Clubhouse, and once a week we raise funds for Learning Idiom. The other one is just to kind of hang out. I always say the joyful moments, you just get your little cup of joy, And so those are the 2 ways that you can find us on Clubhouse. My name is Sachy Ice Queen on Clubhouse, and Sachy because my middle name is Sachar. Aysleth is kind of hard for people to say. And so my nickname growing up was Sachy. My name literally means peaceful fighter, and it's definitely true. You could ask my husband. And it also means servant of the morning in English, and in Spanish it means a peaceful deer that comes out in the morning. And so Sachy Ice Cream, ice because I love the snow. And Queen just because I am one, so that's all women, and happy Women's Month. It was last month, but for all the ladies out there, you are beautiful, you are kind, you are gentle, and you are empowered. You have the power to carry life, And so I definitely want to say, give a shout out to all the ladies out there. And the reason why I use those words, even though you don't believe them, the more, I do positive affirmations and I pray in the morning, and I definitely write on my mirror, things that I need reminding of. And also, there's just certain things that I give my clients, since I am a spiritual life coach. I give them little tips and tricks on how to definitely live a more intentional life. And so that's definitely one of my greatest passions, because I am living an intentional life, and that's definitely how you can definitely turn your pain into your purpose and really hone into what is your purpose. And it's when you start living intentionally.
You're a ball of energy, Aysleth. And I saw Sachy, I guess Aysleth. That's a shortened version of that name. But we started
I
this.
was a FIMU, and so
Yeah.
in college I was a FIMU, and so they would always call me Icy Hot, just because they couldn't say my name. So
Okay,
yeah.
I get it. All right, but I mean, we started this conversation off with you like roller coasters, and it's so funny politically that this is a roller coaster ride. Depending on who's in the administration, is how we're going to treat the border and immigrants, and that's just one small little factor that's really important to your heart. That's really near and dear. I have family that's in Cuba and other parts of the world, and who knows if they can come over the border. I mean, yes. I know that COVID has become an excuse to keep people over the border. No, you stay over there because we got this Corona COVID-19 thing, and that's just another excuse to keep them over the border. But immigrants, man, that's what this country was built on. That's what keeps us rolling is different people that have different skills and bring them to this country. But you are putting it all together and helping people in your own little way. And that's how we do it. We take care of ourselves, and then we take care of other people around us as well. And that's how we're going to thrive and survive.
I definitely think that, when you start being involved in your community, that is how you can change the nation, because it starts with communities. It doesn't start with states. It doesn't start with, political affiliations. It starts with your community. It starts with you being part and loving on your community. I am a big type of community person, because that is how you can change your world, because it is your community. And so, I call, Arkansas Labor Department pretty often, to report certain things that, people tell me, and even if nothing is done, I like to take care of my state. I like to take care of, the workers. I like to take care of the laws that are in place, and so it's something that, here in Arkansas, I read a statistic that the residents of Arkansas, there's only maybe like 25% that has higher education. I was fortunate to be part of that 25%. And so I just want to definitely use the wisdom that I've already paid for, literally, and definitely, empower other people that maybe can't afford it. And that's why we have a virtual vocational academy, is because it is a different type of education, because we, even though we have a nurse, we have, there's just so many arrays in our team that is going to definitely is an educational type of healing, educational type of learning experience. And so, when people go through our courses, we do offer certificates and things like that, which is, I'm in process of, getting contacted with all of the universities here in Conway, because it is a university city. There's 3. And so I eventually want to have interns, and definitely offer scholarships and those types of things, and for all of the people who are interested in the Writer's Masterclass, I am giving away a domestic or international trip, because I love to travel. That's something that I love to do. And so I definitely want to, give one of my students a, free trip. And so I love sharing, and that's definitely something that I'm so excited for whoever wins. And I'm so excited that I have that ability to share, all of the qualities and gifts that God has enabled me and given me. That's definitely something that I finally just, I'm ready for just more. I'm ready to be able to have those resources to help more people. My company is called Zeledon Help. It's an LLC. It's a limited liability company. It's me and my husband's. Learning Idiom is our nonprofit, but mine and my husband's business is called Zeledon Help LLC, and it's Zeledon Help because One, because my last name is very uncommon. And so, and it's helped because we love helping people. He's a contractor and, he gets contracted out sometimes, but he loves painting. And so, we in learning idiom, we do offer, courses for men as well. Sometimes it's kind of hard to catch him because he's always working, but I definitely know how to canvas paint. And so I love teaching people how to do that as well. And so that's definitely something that, we both, as a team, decided that Zeledon Help is kind of like for him and the men, and then learning idiom is kind of like for me and the women. And so that's definitely something that we kind of just organized because, again, I'm a big organization type person. So, but yeah, I'm just so excited. I was so honored for you to have me on here. That's definitely something that, hopefully it's the first of many, and if you are in Clubhouse, definitely give me a follow, and I will definitely, depending on what your profile is, make sure you link your Instagram, because that's definitely how you can find me. It's just my first name and my last name and the number 1, because there's only one like me, and there's only one like you. And so, so many people have the same name sometimes. And so my name is very unique, but, maybe your name is not unique, but that doesn't mean that you are unique. You have experiences and you have specific, things that have happened in your life, and you write your own story, and you're literally writing your story every time you take a step. And so I just definitely want to, encourage anybody out there that mainly they study, they suffer from, what is it called? It's like some kind of syndrome where you want to be like somebody else.
Oh, yeah. Was it imposter syndrome? No, that's
Imposter syndrome. So if you suffer from that, just let it go. Just be yourself.
No, you were saying Aysleth Zeledon. As soon as people figure out how to spell your name, you're very easy to find. That's a very unique name. Don't lose it. Capitalize on it. Market that. I did Keys Dan a long time ago. Even though I'm here in Arkansas and I've moved away from the Florida Keys, it has followed me. So it's a way to brand yourself and for people to follow you. Now, as we park this thing into the garage, I want 3 things. First, what is Clubhouse? Second, how do people find you online, and how do people get a hold of you, connect with you? And then third, shout outs to the people that are also involved, the women in particular that are in the idiom with you, and then any other shout outs you want to give, Aysleth.
So Clubhouse is the newest social media platform where it is only voice based, and so you don't chat. You don't. Literally, there's only your picture. If you want to put a picture, you can link. You don't have to link your Instagram or your Twitter, but you can. Mm-hmm. And there's a profile, but it's literally just you and your voice. And the reason why it's my favorite right now, and why I choose to have my talk show host on it, is because God spoke the world into existence, and so I definitely think that voice and your voice it's definitely powerful. And so I definitely love being on Clubhouse because of that aspect of, you can hear someone's vibration, you can hear someone's energy, you can hear, sometimes you can hear their pain. And so that's something that I love being on Clubhouse because of that factor. And then the second thing, how to get in contact with me. So I have my website. It is zeledonhelpar.org, because I'm not a kind of .com person. I'm an organization. And so it's Zeledon, so Zeledon, help, HELPAR, because Arkansas, .org. And so that's my website. You can definitely reach out to me through that website. And, we definitely get to people within 1 to 2 business days.
I think we hit it right on time. Bing! You get calls. People want to get a hold of you. Give shout outs to the people, and then we'll wind this thing down.
Yeah, just a couple of shout outs. Eva Rivas is the nurse that we have on staff. Evelyn Solis, she is from Guatemala. She is an immigrant. She is part of the, Hispanic community here in Conway. Claudia Fountain. I mean, if you don't know her name, definitely
She's been on this
look it up.
podcast. Yeah. She's a girl of the community for sure.
So Claudia Fountain, she just recently published her story, and so definitely reach out to her. She is an amazing person here in Conway. Has lived here in Conway for many years. She's originally from Mexico. We have Arkansas Tech doctor, because she studied enough to be a doctor, Doctora Carballo, and so she she does a lot of things. She is part of 2 other nonprofits as well, so she stays kind of busy. But she is originally from Argentina. Nancy Espinoza, she's from Nicaragua, and so she's here in Conway as well. Maria Torres, she is from like Darnell area, and so she is a super mom of like 5 kids. So she definitely is always busy, but she definitely knows Spanish. She is from Nicaragua, like she was born there. So was Nancy. And so, yeah, we have Mexico, we have Argentina, we have Guatemala, we have Nicaragua. So we have a diversity of Spanish-speaking countries, and I did it on purpose.
And now I'm on the outside looking in. Cuba.
I definitely, would not mind adding people to the team. It's definitely something that, on Clubhouse, I definitely meet a lot of people. I met a Peruvian, someone from Peru the other day, and he is a realtor just like me, which I'm not a realtor agent yet, but I'm a consultant. And so he was just giving me a couple tips, and so I was like, yeah, I love learning. I definitely have a student mentality. I know that I don't know it all, but I know who knows it all. And so that's definitely something that, I just strive to have that student mentality, because when you have that student mentality, you remain humble. And so it's something that my mom kind of, raised us in, to be a person of noble character. She definitely, that's the main reason why I became a FIMU in college, because our 3 words were truth, love, and honor. And so that's definitely something that always keep in mind. And so, yeah, those are definitely the shout outs I wanted to give. I wanted to also give out a shout out to all of my family. Zeledon literally means the shadow of God. And, in the Bible, it says that, demons flee just with your shadow. And so that's definitely something that I always keep in mind, because so many people, they live in fear of what might happen, or what can happen. And, that's a very sad life to live. And so definitely kind of just hone into who you are and whose you are. And that's definitely something that, I've learned over the years. And so, yeah, it was such a joy to get to meet you and definitely chat with you a little bit. Cubano, oh, hey, Well, I've been to Florida. I've been to Miami twice, and it was beautiful. And so, I don't have addictions. And so I think if I did have an addiction, traveling would definitely be it. I've been to Boston.
Oh.
I've been to Boston. I've been to New York twice. I've been to Florida twice. I haven't been to like Oregon area, but I would definitely be open to do that. So yeah, I just love traveling.
Well, me being from the South, I have never been north of the Mason-Dixon. I'd like to get to New York. I was supposed to go to Bend, Oregon at one point, but I never made it up that far. So I guess I've never been north of I-40 the whole way. Route 66.
Hey, you got to go up there. You got to go.
Get up higher.
Whenever I went to Boston, the one thing that they asked me to say is Peabody. They asked me, how do you say this word? And I said Peabody. And they're like, that's not how you say it. And I was like, that's how I say it. And they're like, no, it's Peabody. And so I'm like, what? It literally says Peabody, and they're like, nope, Peabody.
Peabody.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Circe and Cersei, and El Dorado and El Dorado. It's El Dorado, and it's El Dorado. No, it's El Dorado. So, yeah, there's pronunciations, putting wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So, yeah, that happens quite a bit. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Aysleth Zeledon. And I know we're going to meet in person real soon because we work in the same office. This COVID thing keeps everybody apart.
I had no idea.
Well, now
I'm literally going to be there tomorrow, so.
Nope. Tomorrow I won't be here. I have a party at the Old Post Barbecue tonight in Russellville, and I have a party tomorrow night at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yes, you're a singer. You need to come sing. I know you have family.
Well, okay, so the only song that I am open to sing is a Hebrew song because I do have Jewish, or I'm a Jew.
Let's do it.
I'll say it. I'm a Jew.
No, you said, and I watched one of your videos. You have an idiom tattooed, or what is an idiom? What is that?
So the idiom literally is a form of expression, and so I have a palm tree because in the Bible it says that we need to be like palm trees. That with youth and with when you grow old, to stand up and be like righteous and fruitful. And so I got the palm tree because of that. And then in Hebrew, I have idiom, which is a form of expression, art. And so, yeah, it's definitely, I love my Jewish friends. So shout out to all my Jewish friends. Adam from I Value Culture. You are amazing. It's a nonprofit as well, and they support Jewish artists. Mm-hmm. And so that's definitely, I love my Jewish community. Even though I am a Christian and I consider myself a follower of Christ, I have Jewish blood. And so I love learning about, Jewish customs. And I also have, Muslim friends as well. All three religions theologically all believe in one God. And so I definitely have friends from all kinds of religions and all kinds of beliefs because I just like making friends.
No, my grandfather always wore the Star of David. So he always called himself a Cuban. A Jewish Cuban, a Jewish Cuban. I never got bar mitzvahed, but as a DJ, I did get to perform at a lot of bar mitzvahs. So Baruch Atah Adonai, and I remember hearing the Torah.
That's actually the song that I know.
Hey,
in Hebrew, it's
you need to come out.
Adonai B'Shem. It's blessed be the one that comes in the name of the Lord.
Yeah, you need to come out and sing that. Come to the Rab. Those heathens need some churching up. Well, be it Jewish or Christian, whatever.
Sure. I mean, I love sharing. Like on Clubhouse, I'm always singing the only Jewish song that I know because, it's, I'm learning other ones. I'm actually learning Hebrew on Clubhouse, and so that's definitely, even though it's not Saturday, Shabbat Shalom to all of my Jewish friends, and tomorrow is a Havdalah, which is Friday, and so happy Havdalah. Hope you have an amazing time. And so I love I definitely believe in taking that little Selah, that rest, and so Sundays is my day of rest. So if you look on my website and if you look on my hours, Sunday I don't do anything.
Yeah, lazy Sunday is where I'm at, and I think that's something that's also in the Latin communities in South America. Siesta, man, take a siesta from 1 to 3, a couple hours. Take a break. You don't need to be working, hustling, trying to make that dollar. No. Take a break.
Well, and if you look at the Bible, even God put that day of rest for a reason. Like He knows that we're weak. He knows that we need that. I'm all for entrepreneurs like hustling and everything, but even like scientifically, they have done studies that you work more productively when you take a day off. Because you have that time to reload, to re-energize. You say that I have a lot of energy. Well, it's because I make sure I take my day of rest. I make sure that I take care of my peace and my myself, because if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to take care of you, and nobody's going to take that time. And so you definitely have to put yourself first, and definitely have to, definitely take care of yourself so you can take care of the people around you way better.
Lazy Sunday, lazy Sunday, lazy Sunday. All right. Aysleth Zeledon, I don't want this to be the last time we talk. As time progresses and as your business starts growing and as you start putting other branches on your tree of life, I want you to come back on and talk to me some more and tell me more about the Zeledon and Aysleth Zeledon as it is.
For sure. After our book comes out, I'll definitely come on.
All right. I usually like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or just maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Aysleth Zeledon Sachy, Ice Queen. Last words for the people.
So I definitely want to leave with you matter. So many people suffer from depression and anxiety. And so I definitely want to tell anybody out there that you matter and that you're not alone, and that, definitely ask for help if you feel any of those types of mental illnesses, because I've had them before and I seeked help. And that's definitely something that I always, always, always tell anybody to seek help, because, that's definitely how you can go more into that, depression, is if you isolate yourself, and please don't do that. And so that's definitely something that I always tell someone, to be part of a community, be part of a church, be part of believers, be part of something. And so that's definitely something that I encourage everybody to do, because, you need people around you. You need people that are going to uplift you. You need people that are going to help, you in hard times, in good times. So many people nowadays, they isolate themselves when they're going through, they're shy to say, I have a problem, and, admitting is the first step. And so whether that be, an addiction, whether that be, you suffer from some kind of mental illness, definitely take that step, and definitely look at yourself in the mirror, and definitely, be who you are, and really, really choose to heal from whatever pain or whatever trauma that you have been through. And then that's the first step, is definitely accepting that you have a problem and that you need help.
Well, there you have it, party people. Aysleth Zeledon. What a cool chick. The Sachy Icy Queen. I think that's a great name for her Clubhouse. I need to learn more about this Clubhouse, because people have been talking about Clubhouse, and even if she knows something about cryptocurrency as well. I didn't even want to dig into that much, because it's so foreign to me still. But I know, hey, it probably will be the wave of the future. People are making money hand over fist, living their lives and making money and keeping roofs over their heads using that cryptocurrency. I'm just using the regular currency. I don't know. It's working. But ZeledonHelpAR.org is the place you ought to go if you want to learn more. And her, you'll see her smiling face right there. And then I think she has all her social links on there. Well, either way, if you look up Aysleth Zeledon, once you get that name, Sachy Ice Queen, you will find her everywhere on social media, her Facebook, her Instagram, even her, all the social links. You could find them under Aysleth Zeledon or Sachy Ice Queen. Thank you so much for being on the program, What Makes You Famous. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, would like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. And if you want to watch me do some gaming, like very poorly, you could do that as well. Hashtag KeysDan Gaming. Find me on Twitch and find me on Facebook Gaming. That's it for me. It's KeysDan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.